Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Jarek Brian Show. My name is Jarek, and on today's show, guys, we got a very special guest all the way from Cardano. We got the JPG Junkies, and we have the John Carter. John Carter, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. I'm excited to have you on the show. Excited to hear what's going on with the Junkies. But before we get into all that, kind of give us your background and how you got into Web3.
Oh, man. So I've been around for quite some time. I'd say since 2020 was actually when I started getting in. I was actually trading equities and made some stock money and different stuff there. I liked it. It was interesting. And then basically I started thinking about how the money that I was making was depreciating, losing value, fiat, all that stuff. And then I started thinking about other things, other ways that I could generate money trading and keeping my money for me and for the future. And that was actually what brought me to Bitcoin. And then I fell down the rabbit hole. It wasn't until like 2021 that I started investing, and I watched 5K turn to like 60K in like 9 months. And then I, of course, didn't sell like an idiot. And so, I watched that whole cycle. So this time, I really wanted to get a lot more involved. I understand the cycles, how everything works. This time I have a very structured plan, and so that's how I got into Web3. Basically, I fumbled the bag hard enough that I was like, I gotta figure this out.
No, it's good to have a plan now. Hopefully we're all kind of prepared too. It's going to be kind of my first kind of run at it where I'm kind of like prepared and I kind of have an idea of what's going to kind of happen. Now, of course, we can't time the market, right? But kind of have an idea. But, speaking of the last market, right, with this, craze kind of like NFT kind of like run, right? You had the Bored Apes going crazy, right? And of course, you had the Cardano ecosystem going insane, right? You had Chill Kongs, you had Boss Cat Rocket Clubs, and then we had the JPG Junkies, right? And the JPG Junkies were sprouted up, right, from an influencer that was created on at the time, I want to say it was BitBoy's channel, right? And then kind of came up and it kind of just didn't kind of do much for a while. And I guess you could say, would you say rugged, or was it a failed business? What would you categorize it as?
So there's a lot of people that have different opinions about that. I know that the team right now, the council, our position is probably failed business would be the way that we would categorize it, because like they had raised a lot of funds and perhaps they spent a lot of that on paying their own employees. But there are people with different opinions on that. But basically they stepped away from the project and the community was left to pick up the pieces. They said that they were handing it over as a DAO or turning it into a DAO, and that it was something that the community wanted. A lot of discussion in the community that was not something necessarily that they wanted. In a recent interview on WinMint, it was said that like the community really wanted a token, and a lot of people were confused by that as well. But at the end of the day, they stepped away from the project. The community took it back over, and now we are building a lot more than I think than before. Also, the place that we're at gives us just a lot more flexibility, a lot more ease. The bar is pretty low, you know what I'm saying? Now that the community's taking it over, the bar is pretty low. So like if we provide and follow through with what we're trying to produce, I think that'll just be a huge narrative. Basically like the project coming back from the ashes, honestly, it's a blessing that one of the team members, Seji3, so if anybody's ever played poker and then just gotten absolutely wiped, it could have been by Seji3. He's amazing. But he actually was one of the biggest ones that held the project together after previous leadership and like after the founders. But when the project was turned into a DAO, there was no DAO tooling, no DAO infrastructure. So there were a lot of proposals from the community on what to do, but there was no actionable steps on how to actually push those things forward. So it's really now we have had the community come together to give the team centralized control of the project. So it's probably even further from a DAO than it has been now. We needed that power because we wanted to move quickly to bring things back. It's really hard to run a business when you have to get everybody's approval and everybody is in different time periods and places. We have a lot of thoughts about how we're going to change that going into the future to get a lot more of the community feedback. We want to keep them involved. It's really important to us, just like the whole idea of a DAO is something we believe in strongly. But we've been able to achieve a lot of things in a very short amount of time. Since the community voted for us to have control, we now have an artist that is signed with a contract. We are now a legal entity. We now have one of the best devs in Web 2 and Web 3, AaronGuyette.eth on Twitter. He's a very public docs dev, so it's not like, no suspiciousness there. Everybody can see where our treasury funds are, where all the money's going, and we're really excited about what we're going to build together, because our goal is to produce a tool and a platform for everybody in our community and Cardano as a whole that has value. And I can't say price is going to go up, right? But what I can say is that everybody that is a holder in our community will have a utility for what they hold. Larger holders are going to benefit a little bit more than smaller holders, but the whole mission and goal is to create something that the community loves. I think the first iteration of that is probably going to be something that the community is interested in, that they like, but we are using our community to build out the feedback that we need to create the tool that they deserve and want. We have a mint coming up, and that's how we're going to get funds. Devs are not cheap. Our dev is working with us, and we're very blessed to have him. He has a lot of experience in different Web3 businesses, is a founder in several, and so he's kind of like, he's helping us to become the founders that we want to become of this project we all really believe in, and we love the community.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I want to let everybody kind of know you guys have complete 100% control. Like, everything's back within your power, correct?
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Everybody, none of the old founders have any access to it. It's been completely 100% turned over to the community, and of course the new founders as well. So definitely love hearing that too. And I actually want to kind of go back to that DAO question here. I actually have a question about that here a little bit later. But you said another mint. Is that going to be like a kind of like an upgrade, or what other mint are you guys going to do?
So we're actually doing a rebrand. We're actually in the process of a rebrand right now. JPG Junkies are always going to be the foundation. They're always going to be an integral part of our community, because a lot of people came into Cardano through the JPG Junkies, and now we have a lot of founders. We have a lot of very connected people in the whole Cardano ecosystem that they're still holders. They are still here. They still support us. They watched everything that happened. And then now that we've taken over, they've been even more supportive, and it has been such a blessing. In addition to that, this mint coming up, we don't have much capital, right? So we don't have hardly any runway to build out what we're trying to build out. And so our new brand is going to be JPG Empire. So you can follow us on Twitter at JPG Empire. And that is our new Twitter. It's the same Twitter, we just changed the handle. You can also go to jpgempire.com. That is our new website. The previous founders, we were not able to get control of the website, and so we built our own website. That's what we have now. but we're super excited. This platform is going to be something, basically a lot of us have had these ideas. We took a bunch of ideas from the community about things that they wanted to see, and we're pulling it all together into a platform where those tools and things will be available for everybody. So the next mint is going to be the bosses. And so the idea was that we wanted to get a little bit more professional. We wanted to get a little more entrepreneurial. We want to empower our community to become founders, like a lot of the people in the community have already become. So we kind of want to be that hot spot where people that don't have a lot of knowledge about crypto and how Web3 businesses work can come in and ask all the right questions to devs, lawyers, artists, and then get a lot of their ideas more solidified, as well as like help with catalyst proposals and different stuff, funding mechanisms. Our dev also advises for Seed Starter. So we have a long-term thought or idea of finding a way that we can streamline our people through the Seed Starter process so that way they can fund their projects as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. And kind of like ask you guys this, of course, yeah, reputation is everything, right? And kind of like Web3, right? Once it's gone, right? And you're kind of labeled like this, that, and this, right? So what made you decide to like resurrect this project, right? Because you're putting your neck on the line, right? I see like your docs, right? You have your name and everything like that. Like, what made you decide to say, you know what? I just like this project so much, and I'm going to go ahead and stick my neck out and try to resurrect it and be kind of like front facing with it. Like, what were some of the things about this project that drew you to do that?
So like, it always baffled me, honestly. It blew my mind. I minted one of these JPG Junkies. I also bought a few at 400 ADA and above. So if you look at the floor price now, I think we're around 30. You know what I mean? So I did that, and like my vision was the same way that I feel with some of these other smaller projects. Like sometimes I will invest in them, and then like because I believe in the story that is sold to me, right? I believe in it. And so with the JPG Junkies, it was about community, it was about building, it was about being like connected with people in the Web3 space. And so to me, that was invaluable. I was like, if they really can do this, pull this off, build something cool, that'd be awesome. For me, they had the audience, right? They had a lot more resources than I had. They had the connections, right? So how could this project fail, or how could it be abandoned? It only had upwards to go, in my opinion. That was what I thought. But after watching everything that happened with the project, after seeing the community still intact, still together, after seeing parts of the community step up to like keep it together, that was when I took like, I think it was like, it might have been like 5,000 ADA, and that was when I really like invested in the project for real. That was when I became a whale. That was when I got my 1 of 1. That's when I started making some moves with the people in the whale chat to try to get a little more life back in the project. The team saw this, and like at first they were kind of like, whoa, what's this guy doing? Like, is he just pumping and dumping our stuff? But like, I have no intention of selling anytime soon. If I do sell, I've probably given away more JPG Junkies than I've sold. But this project meant a lot to me. I thought it was like a beautiful idea, and so the community was even more beautiful. And when I came in, one of the community members pointed out the 1 of 1 that I have as my PFP on Twitter, and he was like, dude, this one is like so much cheaper than all of the other ones. And I was like, I'm gonna just get it. And I was excited about that, and they helped me understand the traits and stuff. And from that, I grew a lot of love for the project, a lot of love for the community members. And I've always wanted to get into Web3 and never found that direct way to get in there. And then this kind of happened at an opportune time. The team is really great. They accepted me and asked me to come on. And we've been able to build out. And what we have rolling out, and especially after our mint, which is going to be like at the beginning of Q2, I'm super excited to share with everybody. I think that it will completely change the game on what people think about the JPEG Junkies, what people think about JPEG Empire, and some of the things we can do going forward, especially as a community.
So like with somebody that has like, say right now that's watching this, right, and has, JPEG Junkies, or maybe just wants to go, get some off the floor, right? Will getting some of the junkies actually get you maybe like a whitelist or maybe an airdrop or anything like that?
So yeah, definitely, like if you are holding some junkies, you will get access to whitelists. Um, I will say that people that are whales and up will have other benefits, and then like super plug and up will also have like even more benefits. So um, if 30 ADA is a lot for you right now, we're at a place where you might put some collection offers and they might get hit. Sometimes I'm like furious when I see some of the collection offers hit on some of these really like rare junkies, because I'm like, geez, if I had seen that first, I'd have been in there, I'd have accumulated it. But definitely something that you should look at. And worst case, come be a part of the community, check out the Discord. We're actually going to be streaming the IFC fight today for holders. So we're excited about that. Yeah. We did that with the Super Bowl as well. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, I liked it. But you said something right here that really like caught my attention, right? Because you guys said you guys started out as a DAO, but then you went to kind of more of like putting the more power in the founders, right? And there's been a couple of projects like, that I've seen across other chains that have been led by a DAO, but the DAO has always kind of like held them back, right? In a sense of like, they have to like want to do like extra marketing, or they want to do this, that, and this, and everything like that. And, they've been kind of like held back. They're a quality project, but the DAO kind of keeps them kind of like in a sense, not down, but like kind of keeps them kind of like more in like the dinosaur age and everything like that. So, in your kind of opinion, like why did you guys like went ahead and went with kind of more of giving your power like to the founders, right? And was that really well received with the community?
So it was actually really well received. Like I said, like the bar was low whenever we really asked for this power. A lot of people had given up, honestly. And then like now we see a lot of the OGs coming back, and they're like, hey, what's going on with the project? Hopping in the Discord. They've seen me around on different spaces. They see me out here. I'm really trying to be front facing. People can always DM me any of their concerns or thoughts about anything. So I'm very much available, accessible. But yeah, we're seeing people come back. They really empowered us because they knew that a lot of us had been working on the project for free for a lot of time anyway. So it's not like we were financially incentivized. Like we were already, we already had that experience, so we weren't going to do that to other people.
Yeah, no, exactly, because you guys are trying to save the project, right? And you guys do need to either spend some form of money, right, or do some form of marketing, right? And I think to get you guys out there and everything like that. So that's why I was a big fan of you guys becoming a DAO, but then realizing, we definitely have a vision and we're going to need more. It just takes too long for people like to approve, and then some, or try to flip people. So, I definitely, am a huge fan, of that. And kind of, in the Cardano ecosystem right now, as it sits, right? Are you guys pretty much, how can I say, have you guys been well received as a resurrected project? Like, how has that kind of road been on Cardano? And I can already kind of know the answer, but I'm kind of curious to hear what you have to say.
I would say no. I would say we've not been well received as much as I expected or thought or hoped. Like that was like the initial thought, because it was like, there have definitely been a lot of communities that have had a lot of pushback against incorporating us. But I will say there have been some awesome projects that are very much connected with and close to our community that have been super supportive. So some of those that have been super supportive, I'll say Risk Gaming, the Stag Alliance, I'll say Hops on Cardano, Tipsy Turtles, I can never forget them. They're amazing. Their founder's amazing. If you haven't spoken to him, he's really great. Their project is super awesome. They actually have a mint coming up. I think it's actually this weekend.
Yes.
and that's going to be huge. Like, I'm definitely minting all of the ones that I can mint, and I think I have some stackable whitelists, so I might get a couple.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But yeah, definitely go check that out. Tipsy Turtles. Some other projects, the inmates have been super great. Some of us hold them as well. Always looking for more projects to do partnerships with, and we like to play a lot of poker, so that's been a thing. If you like playing poker, definitely come hang out. We really like Womp Crew, which is over in Algorand. So there have been a lot of really supportive projects for sure, but there have definitely been a lot of pushback as well.
Well, you know, I think I kind of word this right, and I don't mean to kind of like stomp on like Cardano at all, because that's where I kind of like got like my start. I started out at Mutant Toads, right? Cardano was the very first NFT that I actually got into Ada Ninjas and, you know, everything like that. You know, that was my first exposure to NFTs, right? But what I have noticed, right, is that, you know, it seems a little bit more gatekept now, right? It seems like, you know what I mean, that like projects that you're trying to come build on there or trying to do certain things are met with a lot of resistance, right? And what do you think, or like in your own opinion, like how do you think we can change those tides, right? How do you think that we can get more projects to come build? Because like I said, I know it's gonna be kind of like a long question though, but yeah, I've had projects that, you know, reach out to me from Cardano that are coming to Polygon, right? Because I'm kind of like, you know, not huge in Polygon. I'm not gonna say like I'm the Polygon influencer or anything like that, but that's where I've kind of mostly hang out at. But they're saying like, hey, we're gonna go over there because we want to get more support, right? Like, what do you think has to change in that space for Cardano, for more people to want to come build on Cardano and the NFT side?
So that's definitely a really good question, because something that we've been talking about now is actually like if we're going to go cross-chain, how we're going to go cross-chain, and then like how we can bring together those communities. So right now, I think that before the midnight upgrade on Cardano, that is going to make being cross-chain and cross-chain communication a lot easier. I think it's going to be tough. I will say that like we've had a really good time like cross-chain collaborating with Womp Crew of Algorand, and like it's kind of fun because like we'll play poker games and stuff together. We'll spend time in each other's chats and attend each other's events and stuff, and so like that has been totally totally cool. We just have to, you know, make sure you have an Algorand wallet in case you win something. So like, I guess my question to you is, what communities do you feel like on Polygon are worth, I guess, collaborating with, or that we should look at working with? Because long term, we're trying to build something that would be in a lot of places, right? And I just don't have any knowledge about Polygon.
Oh, there's a ton I can connect you with too as well. Of course, you have the Drill Club, right, which is kind of like, you know, one of our projects that are kind of up there. You have Pluto Misfits, you have Avagachi, you know, it's the OG Rec Dogs, Rec King. Then there's the Matic Man, which is the multi-chain man now because he's bridging over to AVAX too. And, you know, he still has projects on both, right? But he recognizes that cross-chain is kind of like the future, is something that eventually we're all going to be kind of doing, right? And it's always kind of fun to see, you know, what other people are building, man. You know what I mean? Like, you over there make connections, and a lot of people are building a lot of cool stuff in different sectors, right? So I'm not really, you know, you definitely need chain maxis though, but I'm not one of them, right? And, you know, there's a ton of communities on Polygon I can connect you with that would love to have you like in spaces and everything like that though. But the thing is that I've kind of seen as of late, kind of like in Cardano, is that it is very much like, you guys, in a sense, you know, and sometimes we get on Poly. It happens on every chain too as well.
Kind of like the apes and everybody else. Like,
yeah, it's kind of like you peasants, and then, you know, it's kind of like there's nobody and jumping in each other's like mint parties. There's nobody trying to help. There's no, you don't really see the ape society jumping into like, you know, new projects that are minting spaces or anything like that. That would be kind of like my only kind of gripe, is that, you know, you definitely want to build up the ecosystem, because what fun is it when there's only like 5 people in your NFT ecosystem? So that's just kind of, I don't know. I love Cardano, and hopefully things kind of like turn, but I definitely would like them to be, you know, more supportive, right? And kind of, you know, that you guys, you know, do your homework on you guys, right? You guys have taken over this project, right? The old founders have no way have ties to this project. So give you, like, you know, hear you guys out, like bring you on a space and, you know, let me hear what they have to say instead of just, you know, no, that's it. Bye. You know what I mean?
something kind of interesting, which is some alpha. I don't know how it's actually going to work out, so we're going to see. But I've been asked to be on the panel of some DeSci spaces here lately. I'm like a super nerd, so I know a whole lot about stuff that's like ridiculous. I would say the biggest thing in DeSci and like in general with science and crypto and things is fully homomorphic encryption. So that's a super ridiculous thing. If you look into it, it's super interesting. I think there will be some huge projects that will come out with, they're called FHE rollups. Super big thing. But aside from that, I've been talking to here lately, DeSci World, which is a DeSci like aggregator. And I'm trying to figure out how we can really bring the like crypto degen culture together with like the DeSci trying to make the world a better place, research funding together. And so we've been in some talks. It's also kind of a good way for a little bit more trust and legitimacy in what we're building, as well as if we can help them to build on Cardano. Cardano is a really good place for that type of environment. A lot of it is peer reviewed and like community driven growth and development. So DeSci would have a really great home here, but we want to become a Web3 incubator for the little man to like come in and then feel really comfortable growing in to the crypto space. And like DeSci kind of has the same mission to be an incubator for researchers and information that is going to be distilled to improve the quality of life of everybody. So.
I definitely like that right there, what you said, and that seems like pretty interesting. And as we talk about NFTs and everything like that, like though, and you have that one sector too as well that you're very interested though in. But what other sectors of Web3 are you very bullish on? Like, is it like RWAs, gaming, or what other sectors are you like, man, this is going to hit in this next kind of bull run, or it's going to grow in these next couple of years?
So I think AI is probably the biggest one. I think AI is going to hit hard. I'm really big into gaming, and actually like I had a stream, which I'm going to try to start doing streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays with one of our community members, but he's a friend of mine now, Burgess the Gamer. And so we're going to try to have streams. But we were actually talking about blockchain gaming. And like I've talked to some developers and stuff in our dev about blockchain gaming, and it's like sort of ridiculous and really silly because it's like an easy thing in theory, right? You create a really awesome game and then you put in the blockchain mechanics. So, but the problem is that a lot of people are creating these like blockchain games, right? And then like the mechanics are already there, but then the game is what lacks luster. I think that this run, if not this run, then definitely by next run, but I hope that by this run that somebody really knocks that out of the park. But I'm interested in blockchain gaming. I keep coming back to this idea. Did you played PS2?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you remember Need for Speed Most Wanted?
Oh yeah.
If that was not like one of the best, most fun racing games in general, it's fun to run from the cops. It was fun to like hit the speed traps the fastest possible. It was fun to race people for pink slips. And like racing people for pink slips is like, I mean, that's what NFTs are for. You know what I mean? Like as far as like a video game, like integration with blockchain and crypto, and I keep shilling this idea because I just want somebody to make it. Like I don't understand why it hasn't been so simple. I know that I'm pretty sure that in this new Grand Theft Auto that there's going to be like some arcs that are crypto related as well, which is pretty interesting. But see, like that's another kind of place where it's super easy to integrate crypto because like they already have like marketplaces in those games where you use your real money to buy the in-game things and different stuff. So like all you have to do is create that marketplace connected to the blockchain, and instead you just have a wallet. Even if like, the wallet is just presented in a different way in the game that is more user friendly. you know. But yeah, blockchain gaming, crypto gaming, interesting one. I'll tell you some of my picks right now real quick. But
Yeah, go ahead.
Shrapnel on AVAX is going to be huge.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like, and this one's a sleeper, but DeFi Land on Solana. And the reason that I like that is because it's like a gamified DeFi game with like mini games and stuff. And like when I first played it, it was like unplayable. It was like really rough. And like now it's like super sharp, very smooth, super good game. So they've been building, and definitely I would look into that one. I really like Cornucopias on Cardano. They're doing some real interesting things. I love the idea of learn to earn. I think that gamified education is actually going to be one of like the biggest things ever. If you can just learn and then you get achievements, you get XP, you get badges, you know what I mean? Like you could remove the need for like regular schools. And then once we have like the VR element, you can physically be in places where you are watching the stuff you're learning as well as absorbing what is being taught to you. And so I'm a super nerd. I love all that stuff. I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's great. I definitely agree with you on the crypto gaming part of it too, and the AI sector too as well. But does any part of you, as being kind of like, a fellow nerd, are you any part kind of scared of AI, right? Or its potential, or to become maybe one day sentient and all that stuff that everybody's, it's gonna be Skynet or anything like that? Or any part of you kind of scared of that kind of scenario kind of happening?
So, man, I'm gonna answer this with like a whole nother thing. So, have you ever watched Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my favorites, also another one of my favorites, telling you, super nerd. But so the Dalek are what I basically imagine. Like if AI were to go absolutely crazy, then they would just essentially end up like the Dalek. In some timeline in Doctor Who, they pretty much like they just live forever and they don't do anything, right? They just are always looking for something to destroy and invade, and they don't do anything. I think with AI, like AI is not like inherently evil, right? It's never going to like want to do harm to anyone. It is a tool. It has to be given a task to do. I could see us like having it kill us, on accident, because if we're like, hey, AI save the planet, and AI's like, well, you guys are fucking it up. And like, you know what I mean? I could see that, but I don't see AI becoming sentient or taking us over or any of that by itself. I think I could see us making a mistake and us destroying ourselves before that happens. AI is a tool. Anybody that's ever used an AI tool to do anything, it's like AI can only do what we want it to do for us. And if you get AI to do stuff by itself, or it's never gonna have that. I mean, it's kind of like it's the paintbrush. AI is the paintbrush, but you still need the artist to like get what you want out of it. And so, if we end up killing ourselves, it's because we're a bunch of idiots and we kill ourselves.
We deserve it.
But I think AI is a good thing. One of the things I always hop back to is like people are like, well, what about all the jobs? Okay.
Yeah.
So there was a time when farms were only worked by people, and then the tractor came out, and then they stopped needing all these people. And it's like, well, what happened to the jobs? It's like the thing is that work just changes. So if we have AI to do a lot of these jobs that we don't actually need people for, then that just means that the work changes. People are going to have to do different stuff. And that's scary to some people that are just happy with their job. But that's also the same problem with bureaucracy and governments, is that you have a bunch of people doing a job, then it gets bigger. Then you have a whole bunch of people doing the same job. It gets redundant. It gets slower. It gets less efficient as it gets bigger. And then all those people get dependent on keeping their jobs. So like AI will cut a lot of that out. And in theory, with blockchain voting, with a lot of this stuff that's coming up, digital ID, digital passports, I just had a problem with a passport. I have to get my passport renewed. I'm actually currently in Honduras, and I had to get a background check in the US, so I had to fly to Miami to get a background check. And I was like, oh dude, I'll just update my passport while I'm here. I can't, because I have to physically hand them my passport, and then they'll take it, and then they will give it back to me when it's done later, right? But I wasn't about to. I had a flight the next day back to Honduras. I wasn't gonna stay there for like 2 weeks, and so it's like, why do we have to do that? Like, if it was just a NFT in my wallet and I just had to scan it or a QR code on my phone, then, you know, I wouldn't even have to worry about updating it. I could just...
Oh yeah, no, 100%. And I'm like, we'll definitely love to see where NFT technology, and thank you for kind of putting the AI thing to rest. Though, but you did mention earlier though the kind of the want to kind of go cross chain, right? And as you guys have kind of, I'm pretty sure you guys have kind of researched it, right? You kind of flirted with it and whatnot. What are some of the chains that you'd be kind of interested in and kind of expanding to? I'm not saying that you're going to do it right now, but what are some that you're like, that looks like that'd be a good place to kind of hang out at?
So I'll say, like, right off the rip, I think Polygon is definitely a very good candidate. Like, to me, what we would probably be looking for is going to be an Ethereum layer 2 and like one of the most accessible, to my mind, just because I know that our dev has worked on Base before. Base is kind of one that comes to mind, and nothing against Polygon, for sure not, but it's kind of like there might be an easier way that we could have our bosses on Coinbase if we went that way. So like for me, it's kind of like would want to go to where the people are, and then like bring in outside people into our Discord, bring them into our community. Like it has been amazing that like some of these giveaways where we're just giving away junkies, then these people that, you know, weren't a part of our community before come in and they're awesome. So like it's kind of like talent scouting. Like really, it's like, so Base, Polygon, Optimism, some of those on Ethereum, but really like I would be interested to go Algorand, Avalanche, and like, so those kind of directions would be cool. The problem is like it's interesting. This mint is gonna have 3,333, and so of that, it's kind of like we don't want to have like 6-7 mints like some of these other projects do, and then they just fail. So like I've thought about doing like super small mints at first on these other chains to see how that goes. But I also don't want to set the precedence that like that we could have unlimited mints.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's basically what we're playing with. We also don't want to burn any of the junkies, but there's 6,000 of them. So it's kind of like, you know, if we get up to 10,000, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot in general. And we don't know that the community will support that. But we would like to get cross-chain. We want to see how we can do it. Maybe there's a way we can just migrate across to some.
Yeah,
and then
definitely. Because one of the projects that we have too on Poly is the Rec Gang, and they're on Stargaze, they're on Arbitrum, they're on, of course, Polygon, ETH. I think they also are on Solana too as well. I mean, they're across, but it's still kind of like the supply is like not that huge. They do like these little small things, and it's like I said, it's all part of their ecosystem. But they've done really, really well. Actually, they're kind of one of the and kind of interviewing them. They're one of the first to kind of really like branch out. Like I said, they originally were on Cosmos, and they just went, and of course with the whole Luna crash and everything like that, they just kind of went kind of everywhere though. But no, I'm a big fan of, you know, going cross chain, because I believe that's going to be the future. You know, and us kind of, you know, this whole just being just, you know, tribalism on this one chain is like, man, it's kind of lame. You know, I want to see what people are doing on AVAX or Cardano or Base or anything like that. And just, no, definitely. And as I will ask you this though, right? You are, you know, resurrecting this project, right? And, you know, you guys are definitely having goals and everything like that. You know, a year from now, where would you guys want to be?
Gotcha. So that's a really good question that nobody's asked me yet, honestly. I will say a year from now, we want to have our platform built out. We want to have already gotten a lot of community feedback and built something that the community likes to use and wants to use. We want to have our own staking. We also want to have our own staking pool. And so I can't promise that all of those things would happen within that year. But those are the movements we're trying to make long term. We also have a lot of plans on how we can create, make our platform and some of these other moves we're making. They have to be cash flow positive. And like the thing is, we don't want to keep asking the community to support more and more mints. So if we are cash flow positive, then we can continue to fund those things. We have some really cool ideas about how far we want to build out our platform, but like the numbers just start getting astronomical as you keep going. And then like if we are talking about making those the platform cross-chain and a platform across multiple chains, or replicating that platform and connecting it across a bunch of different chains, the price is going to just like stack up quite a bit. So even hosting a platform, even hosting the website, those have costs. None of us make any money on the team right now. I feel like we have to get profitable enough that we can have people on salary in order to like keep building out the platform as far as we want to get it. And so we don't want to have to take any money from the community. We don't want to have to ask the community for more money. So that's kind of what's going to dictate our steps, is like, where's our profitability? How can we get it back? Because the goal is to have the treasury become self-sustaining. Even if we could provide like grants to projects from our own community, from the treasury funds, like that would be super awesome. Tipsy Turtles is doing something similar to that with, they're doing travel grants for people that are holders and in the community, like once a month is what they want to achieve. And so I think that a similar thing like that with startups would be like a long vision, but we have to be cash flow positive, and we have to be able to like generate a lot more than we cost. So.
No, definitely. And, John, I do appreciate you kind of like coming on my show and everything like that, and explaining like, the JPG Junkies, a huge fan of like what they were doing and everything like that. And I like the fact that you guys are resurrecting the project. But, but kind of before you go, right, is there anything else that you want to say, or any community members you want to shout out, or anybody in general you want to shout out?
Oh man, there's so many people that I want to shout out, right? Definitely want to shout out Jamie from Tipsy Turtles, really great, super supportive. Want to shout out Unforgettable Name from Hops on Cardano. Check it out if you're a beer fan. You should definitely look into that project. 100% want to shout out Showtime with Risk, super great in the Cardano community, super supportive community member. Jay Coco, she's amazing. She's doing something special for us with our mint, and she's amazing. Our artist, Digital Pencil, or Steven, and then AaronGuyette.eth. Definitely check out the break I was on this morning, earlier today. I would definitely recommend checking that out, as well as give everybody a follow. Follow JPEG Empire. Come check out the Discord if you're interested in watching the IFC fight and maybe having some side bet action going on there between community member. Definitely pick yourself up a junkie, hop in the Discord. If you don't have a junkie, tag at Empire Connect, which is me, or at the John Carter, and I'll make sure that I take care of making sure that you have access to the game, or the fight. And appreciate everybody. You can follow me at Mr. Epicness 9521 on Twitter, or the John Carter would be the name. So thank you guys so much for having me on the show.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming on, and thank the JPEG Junkies. I wish you all guys nothing but the best. I'll be watching you guys and seeing what you guys do. But guys, that's going to wrap our show. If you like content like this, please like, comment, share, subscribe. follow me on X. Definitely follow John Carter 2 on X too as well, and the JPEG Empire, the Junkies, and everything like that. And I will see you guys around in the next one. Take care.